Meghan Markle is paying the high Hollywood price of toxicity. In the wonderful world of entertainment, you can bob, weave, dodge and dive, but in the end, mud always sticks. And after Vanity Fair shredded what was left of her already tarnished reputation, the so-called difficult Duchess's plummeting career has turned into a full-on car crash. With her projects falling like skittles, now the podcast that was meant to be at the centre of a busy and prosperous start to the year has been indefinitely delayed, following reported refusals from Taylor Swift, Beyoncé and Megan Thee Stallion. The second series of Ms. Markle's worthy bore-fest archetypes is on permanent hold. Thank God for that, many might say. The first 12 episodes, saturated with stupefying psychobabble claptrap, were so toweringly tedious, Spotify cancelled the Sussex's $20 million contract. Now, behind the gilded gates of Meghan's massive mansion in the sun, dark clouds are gathering. She is said to be devastated by the 8,000-word Vanity Fair article that branded her a bullying boss from hell whose awful treatment of staff forced one traumatised employee into long-term therapy. This ruinous avalanche of disastrous publicity comes in the painful slipstream of a headline-hitting investigation by the respective Hollywood Reporter, in which ex-Montecito minions dismissed Meg as a tyrant in high heels, prone to 5 a.m. tantrums, who reduced grown men to tears. The growing throng of those who quit and split call themselves the Sussex Survivors Club. Add to that the serious bullying allegations by distraught palace workers when the demanding American was still a frontline royal in Britain, and it seems clear that an unpleasant picture is emerging. As a result, the beleaguered Duchess of Sussex is in a world of trouble. But it gets worse. Yet more appalling press greeted her Angel of Mercy antics, turning up with Harry for a photo op amid the smouldering wreckage of fire-ravaged Los Angeles. Angry locals labelled the shocked couple disaster tourists, grief grifters, and tragedy vultures. Among the vocal critics were actress Justine Bateman and Sharon's daughter Kelly Osbourne. Preposterously, when Netflix pulled the plug on her cooking show With Love Meghan, shifting its release from early January to March the 4th, our selfless heroine announced that she was grateful for the delay, and I quote, "as we focus on the needs of those impacted by the wildfires in my home state of California." As if somehow the victims of the inferno would be lost without her. Of course, when Meghan offers the hand of help, invariably there's a camera nearby ready to record her theatrical generosity. But while the former cable actress appears to be maintaining the sudden postponements are her decision, could it be that cash-conscious companies like Netflix and podcast carrier Lemonada are risk-averse to the badly damaged Meghan brand in an increasingly hostile media environment? As her decline accelerates, the big question is, can the Duchess pull a rabbit out of the hat and, against the odds, somehow stage a comeback? She'd better hope so, because if she remains marooned in the showbiz doldrums, the outlook for her lifestyle site, American Riviera Orchard, is bleak. Launched last March, but still not open for business, the online store for people in need of expensive beige towels and pricey cutlery has been mired in legal wrangling and rows about trademarks. Even the name is in dispute. 10 months and not a single item sold. The portents are not great. Meanwhile, remote from Meg's mounting problems, Prince Harry continues his self-styled dragon slayer war against the tabloids and, according to Vanity Fair, has lost all interest in his ambitious wife's pursuit of fame and fortune in Tinseltown. The sad irony is that as a senior member of the British royal family and still fifth in line to the throne, Harry will always be a star. But the way things are going, with her desperate celebrity dream in tatters, will poor Meghan ever make the grade? You decide. Well, I've decided, Samara, and I don't think she ever will. She's ruined, isn't she? She's finished.
She is finished, and it's actually really sad because Meghan and Harry can basically do no right. Like, they came to Los Angeles with basically a very enviable platter of things to choose from. They had Netflix knocking on their door. They had every production company wanting to do something with them. And they had all these so-called ideas, but they're quickly seeing the sun set on this. They've managed, basically within a couple years, to destroy their reputation. And I think the penultimate thing of this is that Vanity Fair has come out and trashed them and written a novella basically storying what a train crash their entire evolution into life without the royals has been. It's been really hard to watch, and I'm just thinking, yes, you're right, she's finished. But she also kept saying, oh, it's always the British tabloids that are after me. This time it's all American ones. She can't cry back to Harry saying, you know, all these British tabloids are coming to me. These are really reputable papers saying, Meghan, I'm sorry, we've found evidence that you're a terrible person and no one wants to work with you.
Yeah, the Hollywood Reporter and Vanity Fair are not tabloids. Vanity Fair, arguably America's most respected magazine, it does not deal in sensationalist journalism. And the thing is, Simon, you know, I know you always courageously defend Meghan, but in the world of media, this is what's happened. She was dogged by bullying allegations here in Britain. She then went to America, and the Hollywood Reporter talked to 12 former employees who told of her being a tyrant in high heels who bullied her. And now, Vanity Fair, 8,000-word article. No sign of a denial, by the way, said that she's a terrible bully. It's so bad that one employee had to go into long-term therapy, that they were so traumatised. The point is, it's like I said at the beginning of the monologue, in showbiz, we all know that. You know that, I know this. You can dodge, you can dive, you can bob and weave, and you can avoid some of the flack. If it happens once, you can maybe get out of it. If it happens twice, if you're lucky, you get out of it. If it happens 3 times, that's 3 times unlucky. And frankly, in Hollywood, now everybody thinks she's a toxic bully. She's in big trouble.
Yeah, she is. I have to agree with you.
That's the end of the show.
I have to agree with you. Normally, when we fight about Harry and Meghan, there's some specific story that you've brought. We're arguing about how she should approach her family, whether there's going to be a rapprochement there or something like that. When you take the overall story of Harry and Meghan, and their onslaught to Hollywood, it's a disaster story. As I've forgotten your name. It's been a week. As Samara says after
Gill.
As Samara says,
Gill says.
It's a car crash. And John Mulvaney, I've just read an American comic, has just made a big joke about them saying, you know, never since Netflix threw 100 million to somebody without a plan. And I think that's kind of been their problem, is making TV as a TV producer. I know is hard work. And you can't just slap executive producer credits on the end of what you do and think that's how you do it. Samara as well, TV producer.
And that's interesting, though. That's what they would have been used to. And why I was thinking about this in a more bigger perspective is without the royal family, obviously they are nothing, especially someone like Harry, but also Meghan, because they don't have that mechanism to actually be able to do that. They probably could have produced something, slapped their name on it back in the day when they were in the family, but they can't do that anymore. And the cart very quickly
They are
falls
horribly
off its wheels.
exposed, aren't they? They are horribly exposed. And look, I do think, and I will argue this ad infinitum, I do think that entrepreneurs try a lot of stuff entrepreneurs try a lot of stuff, they fail, and then they come good. What this is saying is get out of the media, get out of Hollywood.
Try something new.
That's what I think.
I agree with
That's
you.
what I think is coming back.
Try something new. That's what they've got to do. I mean, you know, bear them no ill will. I hope it works out for them.
That's so disingenuous. You hope it works out for them.
Well, you know, I always like a good story. You know what I mean? And you know what they say, everybody loves bad news. But seriously, they need to try something else. Look, their big problem all along, Harry, basically, I don't think he ever really cared about fame and fortune in Hollywood. And apparently now in the Vanity Fair magazine, he just couldn't care less. He's just not interested. He wants to do royal-type tours. And the source said he wants
but
to,
Invictus
he wants
works,
to kiss babies.
But
basically.
Invictus works, doesn't
Because
it?
it
works
was-
for him.
But that's a sort of charity project and full marks to him. No problem at all.
Yeah, but it was also
But that's
created
not a
while he was in the
that's not
royal
a career.
family.
That's not a career.
No, but I do think coming up with stuff like that is something that Harry and Meghan could turn
absolutely. Good idea.
to doing. And
If they actually cared about people, which I don't think Meghan really does, it is really about her and her career.
Well, let's think about this. Let's think about Meghan's personality. We won't bother with the family, you know, that she has ruthlessly dispatched
Cuts both ways,
into
Nick.
oblivion.
Cuts both ways.
All right, we'll accept your viewpoint too. Anyway, she comes from this feuding family, hasn't talked to her dad for 4 or 5 years or something, doesn't talk to her brother or sister. They are extremely suspicious of her. They say she's ruthless, she cuts people out of her life and all that. OK, fine. A lot of people come from feuding families. But look, let's talk about her personality. You know, bullies are not nice people. Now, you know, I'm being slightly careful here, but I think after 3 publications or 3 serious sets of allegations of bullying, we have to accept this woman is a bully, and that is not very nice. She's not a nice person, is she, basically?
The thing is, it actually wouldn't matter if she's not a nice person, that's for sure. I mean, there are multiple accounts of that. But it actually wouldn't even matter if she was like a Charlize Theron type who's had lots of bullying allegations against her. The issue is that the brand that she tries to pan to people, this $2 shop Martha Stewart crap, that is actually... That is not conducive with the mean girl personality that's being broadcast out to everyone.
But maybe that's just it. Maybe, and I think Vanity Fair says this, maybe she's just a terrible boss and she's a terrible people person. I think it's very easy to be quite sort of dismissive of her and Harry coming out to help the neighbours.
I do find it easy to.
Yes, I know you do. To come out and help
I find it very, very
to come out and help
easy.
the neighbours. I think that she's possibly not a great boss, not a good people person, but I do think that her heart is in the right place, and I think that Harry's is
I
as
don't
well.
think her heart is in the right
I do
place.
think that.
I
do
don't
think
her
that they
heart
are
is in the right-
genuinely...
Her heart is all about her. It's all about her. She used Harry as a vehicle to make herself more famous than she deserves to be. Frankly, you know, her ego is writing checks her talent can't cash. That's good, isn't it?
It's from Top Gun.
Yeah, from Top Gun. Her ego is writing checks that her
body
talent
can't
can't cash. That's why I get the small bucks. But seriously, that is true. I think she's pretty talentless. You know, she's certainly not a producer. And in the Vanity Fair article, and I think the Hollywood Reporter as well, various former employees said if only she would listen to other people, then maybe some of her projects might have been more successful. Because, you know, if you're someone like Meghan, you know, sort of minor cable actress, you know, understand where you are in the Hollywood firmament and take on people who really know what they're doing. Apparently, the people who did join them, who are expert in the ways of Hollywood, were just dismissed time and time again. So she's got this aspect to her personality that she won't listen to other people. She thinks she knows it all, and she just doesn't. And her productivity so far, frankly, reveals quite a lack of talent. Don't you think, Samara?
I mean, it's classic D-list actress behaviour. It's always the small ones that act like the big fry in Hollywood. And I think she's quickly realising that she can't actually get away with it anymore. And yeah, no one wants to buy your sort of weird tea towels and pots of jam that you're trying to pan off to people. And it's not going to happen.
Well, you can't because
you can't because there is nothing.
American Riviera orchard isn't open.
For people who don't want to buy it, you two are obsessed with the products on there.
I want to get some of the jam.
There you go. Somebody wants to buy it.
Towels.
Somebody
I
wants
need
to
them
buy
now.
it.
Come on, Meghan.
After the Vanity Fair article, it's not going to happen.
Look, I agree with you. She's a very strong flavour. She's very difficult. She's very challenging, OK? Yeah. And if you are being tough on your staff and can be seen as a tyrant and bullying, that's not a great look. But I do also feel that they've got it harder. They have got it harder. The spotlight is on them. They don't have, as you just said, they don't have that protectiveness of the royal family where people aren't going to say if your stuff is crap, you know? They're out there trying to do that. And when you have failures and you're trying to do something and trying to make stuff work, when you fall and you're in the public eye like they are, that same... She might be a D-list actress, but she's married to a royal.
I mean, you
so
know,
therefore, everything looks bigger.
Cry me a river. Pass me the smallest violin in the world. I mean, in that 19-bathroom, massive mansion in the sun in Montecito, you know, I can't have too much sympathy for them.
Still want to try and try things and be successful. You can't knock them for that.
I mean, he's untalented as well, but he's actually, I mean, he's lost the plot now, but he was a good royal. That he was good at being a royal.
He's warm and he's charismatic.
I think he realises that, and that's why he wants to go on these weird pretend royal tours.
No, he's warm.
And when they turned up in the smouldering ashes of fire-ravaged Los Angeles, I think he thought, well, this is what I do. You know, I visit people when there's been a disaster.
Yeah, but that's
and he's
nice.
stunned. Well, not according to the people of Los Angeles. They're furious with them. They hated it. They thought that those two, and I've got a lot of sympathy for this viewpoint, were cashing in on tragedy to get a photo.
Oh, no.
There's always a camera handy when she does nice things, isn't there?
There'll always be photographed. They're two of the most recognised.
Yeah.
Two of the most recognisable people on the planet.
Particularly when she takes a cameraman with her.
Yeah, they were among a sea of people. They brought a Netflix crew with them.
Did they?
Yeah, they did.
Well,
they took a Netflix crew.
I'll tell you what did happen, and this is documented. All the genuine workers who were helping there, all the people who were helping the effort there, were told to clear out, get out of the area, while Harry and Meghan walked through so they could look nice and kind of pristine for a picture.
That's disappointing if that is true.
Yeah. See?
That is disappointing.
Slowly we're persuading him. We're persuading him.
You don't want to believe
Look, that was a photo op. And she went back the next day. She didn't get the memo. I mean, you know, I used to live there. I mentioned that. And I've got a lot of friends there. That city is seethingly furious with those two for what they did. No other celebrities did that.
Lots of celebrities have set up clothes drives and done things like that. And
but that tended to be that was their
crowed about it on social media.
You're talking about celebrities who lived in Pacific Palisades, which has been destroyed. It's an absolute tragedy. Some celebs, some stars, helped out in their own neighbourhoods, having had their homes destroyed. Harry and Meghan drove 200 bloody miles to be there. Look at us in the ashes.
But helping people.
Helping people, my ass.
Listen,
they didn't help anybody.
If you always look at them through that prism of everything they do is evil and wrong and self-serving and opportunistic, that's what you see. I don't look at them that way. You know, I can say that
you should.
I also think that the Netflix cooking show that she withheld from the public because of the fires.
From a grateful public.
Yeah, well, I reckon they're in the process of doing a re-edit at the moment. That is speculative, but I actually think that they looked at the dislikes and they said, oh, Christ, how can we make her seem a little bit more authentic?
That seems the right
How can
thing
we
to do.
re-edit
Yeah, well,
it?
no, I don't blame them for doing that. I didn't blame Netflix, and I'm not sure she had much to do with the decision. But we criticised her for releasing the trailer right on the day after the terrorist attacks in New Orleans.
Yeah, so now...
we can't criticise her for delaying this, but I don't think it was her decision. I think it was Netflix.
Oh, so when she does something well, it's not her decision, and when she does something badly, she can't win. That's the point that I always make.
Yeah, well...
Netflix put out the trailer after the terrorist attack. She didn't.
Yes, but she said, I'm grateful to Netflix for the delay.
Yeah.
She acted as if it was her decision. Let me tell you, I don't believe it was her decision in a month of Sundays. That's Netflix saying, this show isn't going to sell.
Yes.
Lemonada, they're thinking of releasing their podcast series. They're thinking, this woman is toxic. Everybody hates her. We are not going to release this podcast.
I think they learned the lesson after the terrorist trailer. You can't have a house in LA which has been burnt to the ground. You can't have a series come out there. It just feels insensitive.
I don't decry that decision,
and so therefore she may well have had a hand in making
more
that
than
move.
that. It's what Samara says. They're re-editing.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's given that
they're re-editing based on what?
Based on the 100,000 dislikes that the trailer got.
That is a trailer. There will be a Netflix producer overseeing...
Making a new trailer.
No, overseeing the episodes. We don't know what's in the episodes.
They got literally the most dislikes in the history of...
On a trailer,
yes,
on 1.5 minutes.
in the history of a cooking trailer that has been
If you were producing that show, you wouldn't go, oh, this is good news. Lots and lots of dislikes.
Yeah, they'd say...
No, if I was producing that show, I'd go... Wow, people are going to watch my show just to... all I want is people to watch my content.
Episode 1. Episode 2, not so much.
Yep.
By the way, everybody in showbiz now has got the memo about Meghan as well. So the first series of Archetypes, very boring, got good stars, you know, Maria Carey and all that kind of thing.
Paris Hilton.
Paris Hilton. They got good stars. This series, everyone's turning her down. Beyonce, Megan Thee Stallion, and Taylor Swift all turned her down. All the big names. They don't want to know anymore. She isn't worth being around.
That's not how chat shows and podcasts and guest podcasts work. If the people can't do it, they say no. It's not a case of turning them down.
No,
We've been chasing. I've produced chat shows, and it's very difficult sometimes to get people on chat shows.
It was hilarious.
You know, there's not toning them down.
Yeah, but you do know these demands and requests were some of what caused the staff to go into therapy, because Harry was also, for his podcast that he wanted to do, was casually mentioning, oh yeah, could you get Putin please to come on my podcast and talk about his childhood?
Yeah.
And quote unquote made the staff member feel quite overwhelmed.
That's what's funny.
It's just,
The funny thing in the article, Simon, I don't think you've read, is
skim read
that Harry's idea. We knew that he had this idea. I'll interview all the world leaders, Putin and Donald Trump and the Pope. And his idea was that we talk to them about their traumatised childhood, because Harry too had a traumatised childhood. So he said, the idea is that, you know, they all turned into sociopaths. Why didn't I? Listen, there's two things about that. Well, we'll decide whether or not you're a sociopath, Harry.
Yeah.
And also, if you approach people and say, we want to talk to you about what a sociopath you are, you will find they'll tend to say no. So, Harry, this is the real world. Meet the real world. I don't believe you've been introduced. We've got to go to a bad ad.
Hi, Phil Swift here for Flex Tape Clear, the super strong waterproof tape that's clearly the best way to patch, bond, seal, and repair. I cut a giant hole in another boat and repaired it with only Flex Tape Clear. Not only does Flex Tape Clear's powerful adhesive keep all the water out of the boat, but even in shark-infested waters, it creates a super strong watertight barrier that seals out the elements, and you can see right through. And even in the most extreme conditions, Flex Tape Clear can take a pounding and holds on tight. I think I'm gonna need a bigger boat. Wahoo!
He's going very much for a niche market, isn't he? I've got this boat with a huge hole in the bottom of it.
So I know exactly what you're looking for.
What do I need?
I know exactly what you're looking for. So we just got it over here. So we've got some flex.
Yeah, I bet your old Phil Swift's not a millionaire.
that made millions of dollars in the States, that product.
Did it?
Yes.
So Phil Swift is a millionaire?
Yeah, it's very popular.
Well done, Phil. We're not worthy.
You've got to love America. You've got to love America.
Yes.
You can make a fortune out of anything there, unless you're Meghan Markle. Let's go to some real ads. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Welcome back to What Just Happened. Average to have Simon London back, and brilliant to have Samara Gill back. This is, of course, the second section, and regular viewers will know this is the big moment, the big story of the week as far as we can work out. We're all experienced journalists. Get your Kleenex ready. This is it. Take it away, Selena Gomez.
I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do.
Doesn't even look like real tears. Here is Candace Owens impersonating Selena Gomez.
Nobody grabs their cell phone. Think about the steps there, right? I'm sad. My Instagram. My life.
Candace Owens is a better actress than Selena Gomez. I mean, you know, talk about virtue signalling. And by the way, in case you think, Simon, that Selena was proud of that, fairly soon after releasing it, as she received a torrent of abuse, she deleted it. I mean, it's pathetic, isn't it?
She's really moved by it.
Ah, come on, that was claptrap. She's
really, you know something, you know, and I do feel sorry for Mexicans, or people of Mexican heritage in the States who may have felt like after the last 8 years, with Trump calling them murderers and rapists and they're sending the worst and everything. Listen, but people are being deported, but as a minority, as an underrepresented minority, and you have the highest person in the land doing that, it opens the floodgates for everybody else to do that. And I think a lot of minorities feel very, very attacked.
Well, they shouldn't break into countries, should they?
That is virtue signalling of a sort, and I can see the funny side of Selena Gomez, as Candace Owens, never thought I'd agree with her, sort of saying about putting it on the phone. But underneath this, there's a real horrible thing going on in America, a real undercurrent of people feeling attacked and feeling unsafe.
Yeah, but also millions of Americans, millions of Brits as well, are loving every moment of Donald Trump's dynamism.
Yes.
He said he was going to tackle the migrant crisis. He is tackling the migrant crisis.
Yeah, he is.
And he's proving that if our lousy government, in fact, successive lousy governments, cowardly governments, had the guts to really tackle it, they could have done the same.
Absolutely. I mean, she's so uninformed. It enrages me. Really. No, it does, because she thinks that it's like, I'm going to have my own cry session thinking about how crap of a...
Hang on, let me do that again. What a hypocrite. Nobody's buying it.
Well, it's really irresponsible. She's got 450 million Instagram followers that she was broadcasting this to. She's whipping them up into this hysteria because what they think is that children and women are the ones getting deported and getting, you know, taken out of their house in the middle of the night. That's not true. If you actually look at all the footage and videos of who they're deporting, it's young men who came for obviously economic reasons to America. And whoa, they broke the law. They are illegal immigrants. It's not like they're just thinking, oh, there's a Mexican on the street, let's just go and deport them.
Yes, but you can have two things. The two things can be real. You can deport illegal immigrants, and you can, without dehumanising them for 8 years and calling them all names and making the wider population feel unsafe.
Who cares?
I care. I know you don't care, but it's like about... I've always said...
Who cares if you
I've always said if you're
dehumanise them?
dealing with immigrants who are coming over to this country, and some are refugees and some are seeking asylum and some are illegal immigrants, some of those people have been through a traumatic time, and so you don't want to dehumanise everybody.
They're a tiny minority. Most of them are liars. Most of them are liars. And by the way, what I like about America is they've at last given the lie to that nonsense about migrants are not criminals. They are. They broke the law. Our migrants are criminals. They arrived here without documents. They came across the channel in illegal vessels. They broke our laws. They're criminals. You should not be able to negate that by going, I claim asylum. Well, in Australia, your fine country, Samara, they've said, right, you break our laws trying to get into our country by getting in illegally without your passport, coming over on an illegal vessel. You have broken our laws. Automatically, you have no right to asylum.
Yes, and
we should do the same.
And I understand that. Sorry, Samara, go on.
I'm just saying that's what it is. It's a deterrent. And wow, most people have phones. They can see that, yes, if you're going to now try and enter the country, you're going to be turned right back. And interestingly, you don't cry for, you know, the fact that people smuggling gangs are the ones that are actually profiting off this situation.
Yeah, because
it's not like some hope of an American dream where you just scuttle across the border. You can't even get close to the border without engaging an expensive human trafficker to get you over.
Samara, but that would be weird. Selena Gomez is Mexican and she's crying about the way that Mexicans are being dehumanised as well as what's going on now. Now, I think you can separate the two. I think you can have a strong...
How are they being dehumanised?
I think you can have a... I've said before, you've got a president...
Being arrested and sent and flown home.
You've got a president who opened the floodgates for people to kind of go, oh, all these Latinos are illegal, and they're all rapists, they're all murderers, they've all been released out of the insane asylums. He created a horrible toxic atmosphere for those people to be in.
Obama deported more people.
Listen,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
but Obama didn't call them...
Trump's on track to overtake
Obama
him.
didn't
Well, where were Selena's tears when
didn't call them
Obama
all
said the
names
same thing?
beforehand. That's the point that I'm saying. You can do this thing with a little bit of humanity.
What names has he called? We just called them illegal migrants.
No, but
Bad guys.
I'm saying when the leader of the country comes out and says, oh, these Mexicans are rapists and they're murderers and they're from insane asylums and everything else, you create an atmosphere that makes migrants, makes legal migrants as well, feel unsafe and feel attacked and feel oppressed.
Well, legal migrants got no reason to feel unsafe. Why would they feel unsafe?
I can also tell you...
I think
I'm talking to you about
if illegal migrants feel unsafe, good. Good.
Yeah, no,
they're
I know,
criminals. They
but we
shouldn't
don't
be
go
there.
Yeah, but we don't go. We dehumanise our whole populations in order to make the
I
small
can
minority
tell you-
feel bad.
I don't mind dehumanising.
We don't do that.
I don't mind
We
dehumanising
go-
criminals.
We don't go. Oh, we don't say.
I don't care about the
But this is where we end
humanisation
up
of
saying-
criminals.
I can tell you that it was the legal migrants that voted majority Trump because they don't want the illegals in there either. Because, it discounts their entire experience. They actually got the right documentation to come into the
let's
country.
move on because we've got a question that kind of relates to all of this, to the snappily titled section of the show called Samara's Questions.
It's audience questions.
Well, yeah, but you read the questions.
Yeah.
Actually, it's
Samara
probably-
reads the questions.
I just make up this name every week. Anyway, this week, folks, it's called Samara's Questions, but she's reading out your questions. What's the first one, Samara?
Snappy title.
Was Donald Trump right to humiliate the Colombian president?
Yes. He was.
In
that
short.
little pipsqueak. Trump flies down 2 planes, military planes, full of murderers and rapists. They're all handcuffed. And this little idiot in Colombia, a classic socialist who, by the way, is presiding over dreadful poverty in his country, like all socialists always do. He said that he would not accept these 2 planes because it dehumanised them. He wanted a better form of transport. What a stupid thing to say. So Trump said, all right, you accept these people right now, or I impose a 25% tariff on all Colombian goods. And if you don't agree within a week, it'll be 50%. This is hilarious. At the time this sort of story was broken to Donald Trump, he was on the 6th hole of a round of golf. By the 8th hole, the Colombian president had folded and said he would accept all American migrants being deported, and actually stupidly sent his own plane there to say, oh, they must have a better plane. Who gives a damn about a better plane to transport them? What a stupid thing to focus on. It's like you, they shouldn't be dehumanised. They're murderers, they're rapists. What about their victims?
Listen, I don't know the exact makeup of the people on the plane.
First ones are pretty bad guys.
Of the people on the plane. Okay.
They wouldn't be on the plane if they hadn't broke the law.
The ones we've seen so far, trust me, they're bad guys. They're what the new regime in America called the low-hanging fruit.
There's a reason Petro didn't want them back in the country.
Okay, so look, despite myself, and I hate myself for it, Trump is...
I hate you too, don't worry.
Thank you. Trump is doing the things that he said he would do, and he's doing them, and he's doing them quickly, and he's doing them quickly, and that is a good thing.
Simon, by the way, everybody, hold fire for a second. Simon just complimented Donald Trump. Has anybody got any champagne? Hey! But go on.
Okay.
He's doing what he says.
Yes. What I just said, and I didn't know that you were going to ask this Colombia question, the Colombia question. What I said stays. You can do this with some humanity. Now, listen, if that was a plane full of rapists, murderers, and everything else, then Trump sort of playing hardball with the president. Yes, I can see that's a good thing and everything else. But we must not lose sight. I would argue this. We have an American audience. I do not go around saying all Americans are fat, lazy, and stupid and don't know where.
You have in the past.
I've never said that. I would never say that. I would never judge a group of people, and in doing so, make the other people, a small minority, and make the majority feel bad. I'm against that. And so therefore, I think that Trump and the ICE doing this need to remember that they're dealing with human beings and try and be as humanitarian as possible. I care.
I get a free flight
So
back home.
this President Petro, Colombia's first socialist president, he has plunged his country into abject poverty. 6 million people there live on $2 a day, thanks to his ridiculous policies. And all he could go on about to Trump was, after he had to fold his cards and do exactly what he was told, he said, I don't want your oil, your greed is destroying the planet. I'm so sick of these pathetic little left-wingers, who don't understand that what people need is food. They
But in
need
Brazil,
all this crap.
Got another
Your mate
question.
Bolsonaro in Brazil, that's a right-wing...
well, now they've got...
That's a right-wing government.
Not now.
That's a right-wing...
Not now.
No, not now, but that was a
They got a
right-wing
woke
government. The poverty
now.
gap there, poverty gap was massive. So let's not just blame all the socialist governments.
Yeah, but socialism doesn't work, you know that. Next question.
Another thing that happened this week, should Donald Trump be congratulated for stopping $50 million worth of condoms being sent to Gaza?
Let's just have a look at this clip, shall we, first?
We identified and stopped $50 million being sent to Gaza to buy condoms for Hamas. 50 million.
So was he right to stop that? Yes.
To buy condoms for Hamas?
Well, it wasn't for Hamas, it was for Gaza.
Yeah, because they have got a bit of a population problem.
If they have too many more babies, there's not anywhere left for them to live. I think that is the problem. But
want to
but that is a
repopulate.
window into the lunacy of Biden's be kind woke administration. $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza. What a waste of money. What a waste of American taxpayers' money. You'd agree with that, wouldn't you, Simon?
Looking at the country, it certainly looks like it's something beginning with F, but I don't think that they need condoms. I think they need help rebuilding that country and getting it back on its feet.
Yeah, I don't think the condoms would help, but that was a window into the lunacy of
Yeah.
Joe Biden's mad wokery. He's not even woke. He's too ancient to be woke. He was just he was a puppet on a string, wasn't he, doing what the idiot woke Democrats wanted. And they, of course, lost the election because they don't understand the American people and they're completely useless, and Donald Trump completely thrashed them. Let's go to a bad ad.
Save yourself $200. Hoover, bagless, $99.
What a sale!
We're running red hot at Godfrey's.
So come on in! And you'll get this bonus high-pressure steam cleaner, and you know what they're worth. How much would you pay for a brand new Electrolux Oxygen?
Awesome suction, and it's only $149.
Crazy! Half price, only $199. Even less with trade-in. Now that's serious.
Buy this Hoover bagless for just $99 and Godfrey's will give you...
Give you?
Yes, give you...
Yes, give you.
this cordless shutter steam iron as a bonus.
Free? You gotta be joking. Vacuuming with the new Hoover Breeze is so easy, it's just a breeze. There'll be a stampede!
There's going to be a stampede.
And you get this bonus steam mop free.
There'll be traffic jams! There'll be traffic jams! There's gonna be traffic jams!
It'll never end.
Oh, my God.
At Godfrey's,
I love
you
Godfrey.
obviously, that's probably one of the stores that you regularly go to.
Yeah, no, I'm actually...
Do they
I
sell
have
combs? Because Godfrey,
got a legendary comb over.
that was a comb over,
yeah,
wasn't it?
that was...
Whilst we were watching that...
I've seen him, actually.
Samara said she dated the guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's...
And you went out with Godfrey, right?
My standard is way lower than that. Anyway, no, I think I've actually seen Godfrey. When you go to his stores, he's always
asked?
there. No, he's always there. I'm not joking.
He's like human
Well,
cocaine.
where is Godfrey's then? In
Penrith, Aubrey, all these different
Punch
places.
Bowl?
Wollongong,
Punch Bowl?
Punch Bowl.
Where are they? Are they in Melbourne?
Yeah, these are actual locations in Australia.
Billy Bonzo?
What are they called again?
Wollongong.
What else?
Gallifrey.
Punch Bowl, Wagga Wagga.
I don't think we say that anymore.
No wonder you left. I mean, I love the way he goes, hair, we can't get enough of it. But yeah, well, you haven't got much, mate.
He sucked it all off with his bloody vacuum cleaner. Anyway.
Anyway,
bagless.
I'm off to get a vacuum cleaner from Godfrey, and in the meantime, we're going to go to a real break. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
Right, let's go to the next section of the show, which, of course, is the equally snappily named. We've got to get some better names as viewers' questions. These are the questions that you've been very kind to send in, and as I always say, thank you very much for all your messages. We do appreciate them, and Samara Gill, my glamorous assistant, is going to read some of them out. Take it away, Samara.
The birth rate in England has crashed to its lowest on record, with women at an average having 1.4 children. What went wrong?
I think we all got too ugly, so nobody fancies anyone anymore. I think that's what it is.
It's expensive.
I think younger people, it seems to me, I look around, I mean, they're all unattractively short, aren't they? So that could be it, couldn't it?
I mean, speak for yourself, Kev.
Yeah.
I
have one son. So my son's 23.
Yeah, your son. Does he want to have a kid? Does he want to have a kid?
Yeah, I showed pictures of him to Samara, and she's
with me.
Yeah, and she's willing to be a surrogate.
About your age, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very good looking, and
I fancy having him as a father-in-law.
Hey, listen, he doesn't need me. He's like producer, rap star, all the rest of it. He's killing it.
He's the talent in the family.
He's the talent in the family. Yes, Lundo. But he's expensive. He's really expensive. Kids are expensive. And if there's a cost of what's it called? Cost of crisis. Crisis of cost.
Cost of living crisis.
Thank you. Cost of living crisis. Sorry, I've been away.
Glad to help. It's a very tricky phrase to remember.
In a cost of living crisis, I can see people sort of saying, let's cut back.
I think that's a really good point. I think a lot of people are terrified of the money.
I heard sending them to college. I mean, that's 30 grand you've got to cough up for before you even pay for the accommodation.
I also think I look around at the kids these days, and they're unattractively short, and also they seem to be very sort of horrible people. So I think a lot of people will say if we have kids, they'll just be little shits. So why?
He's 6'2".
Why would we bother? Yeah, your son is tall. Yeah, taller than you, right?
Yeah,
because you're 5'2", right?
I'm 5'6". 5'6".
Oh, Amazonian. Should we move on to
a great article I read about the fact that also people having kids later, and so they know what they're trading off for having children. So they're just like, I might as well just not.
But for years I've brought dinner parties and social gatherings to a halt when people say, hey, Kev, why didn't you have kids? I go, I don't like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They like me, though. Kids love me.
Yeah, that's great.
Because I have no idea how to treat them. I don't treat them like kids. I treat them like
kids
adults.
are like farts. You don't mind your own. It's just everybody else's that smell.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
That's what my dad always said, that the only kids you love are your own. So there you go. Next question, Samara.
Lidl has announced that it's going to open the first ever pub in a supermarket.
Yay.
The shop in Belfast will allow customers to shop when they're drunk. Is this a good idea? Kevin, you seem like an authority on this.
So it's not only a pub in a supermarket. Everybody goes in there and gets slaughtered.
It's actually really smart.
Yeah,
I like that.
The last bit doesn't make sense. So what did they do? They go, no, you can't shop now, sir. You can't get your Superflex now, sir. You need to be drunk.
I can imagine, when you see couples in the aisles, and you've got the wife going and the husband's looking a bit fed up. In this supermarket, the husband will go, I'm just going to check out another one of the aisles over there.
Yeah, I like the idea.
I like that idea.
But it's just going to be clean up in aisle number pub because they're not going to be throwing up.
I don't think it's a great idea for the supermarket. We've got some weird supermarket stories today, haven't we? Because if I was in there shopping and I saw the pub, I'd be tempted to go in and probably would go in and probably never get back to my supermarket shopping.
Imagine being the sort of man who went to the pub in the supermarket. Imagine being that bloke.
Yes,
it's really awful.
As you walk through the doors, I've become that guy.
Yeah. Hi, Kev. Hi, mate.
Local. Usual, please.
Yeah, oh dear.
No more time for any more questions, I'm afraid. But we'll have some more next week, I'm sure. But in the meantime, it's time for another bad ad.
If you love your chook, here's where to look. It's a down.
It's a down. Cole's delicious RSPCA approved hot roast chickens are still down at just $8 each every day.
It's a down.
That's right, just $8 for a 100% Australian RSPCA approved hot roast chicken.
It's a down.
For more everyday low prices on even more of your Coles brand favourites.
It's a down. At Coles.
RSPCA approved dead chickens. What's that mean?
So brilliant. Samara just said
brilliant.
to me, that's an animal welfare organisation. I went, yeah, I know, we have it here.
You guys guys don't have it over here.
RSPCA.
You don't have the RSPCA.
What does the R stand for?
Respect.
No.
Royal.
Oh, what?
Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Your RSPCA is owned by us. So don't you forget it. It is time now for a real break. What just happened?
He's mad as hell. It's Kevin O'Sullivan.
So this is the complaints department. This is your comments that, again, you're kind enough to send thousands every week. Not all of them completely complimentary. Well, let's start. You take the first one, Simon.
TZZ615 says, I watched till you started saying good things about the felon in the White House. Unsubscribed.
You haven't watched the show very much, have you, TZ16555 or whatever you are? But obviously he's in bed with you, isn't he, Simon? Probably literally knowing you. Samara.
Windreamer says, I love your show. Subscribe just now. Happy New Year from Arizona, US of A.
And who's that from?
That's from Windreamer.
Windreamer, welcome aboard. You sound like my kind of a guy or girl. I'm not sure which you are. But then again, you can only be a guy or a girl because in America, legally now, there are only two genders. Just like there always were, actually. Simon, you next.
Tracy Arno says, that Sticky Nips infomercial has got to be fake or a spoof. I live in the US and this is bad even for us. Smiley face.
No, the Sticky Nips was amazing. You missed this. Right.
I did watch
So you watched the show. So, from your sickbed, no doubt.
Indeed.
I suppose you run out of things to do, didn't you? No, so it's a sort of a thing that women can put inside their sort of blouses in order to look like nipples sticking out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I said, well, they're a waste of money. Just put your tits in the fridge. That'll
This is true.
Samara, you know.
Via King has said, I have to say, I enjoyed listening to your interchange between the three of you. So much info, polite exchange, points of view, and preferable over the shouting exchanges of the past episodes. Thank you.
You see, that's because
people like it.
We had Andrew Eborn and Reem Ibrahim,
yes.
and we all sort of agreed, and it was all very, very
Kumbaya.
friendly.
That must have been nice.
Peace broke out. So, it was lovely, actually. But at the end of every show when I've been with you guys, particularly you, Simon, I feel exhausted. I'm shouting at the top of my voice. End of that show, it's like, how lovely, how lovely. We've got another bad ad.
Nel blu, dipinto di blu, felice di stare lassù.
It's those guys, right, doing that. It's like they might take off as well.
Or helping another plane to land.
They don't make ads like that anymore, do they? Thank God. No, it's hilarious. Alitalia. Do you remember Alitalia? Some time ago, it was 20 years ago, or 10, 15 years ago, they found out that about half their pilots weren't qualified.
Yes, I do
Bullshitted their way into the job. And on that airborne bombshell, that's the end of another edition of What Just Happened. Big thanks to Simon London. Good to have you back.
Thank you.
Good to have you back, Samara. And we will be back next week, same time, same place, right here with another episode of What Just Happened. Stick around.